but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing bottom line. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds. And most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
Worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals, but I learned to push through.
Spot a stroke.
Desk, it's 7 seconds. And most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
Living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
Worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause it's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang.
Settle! Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Yes, sir! What the Rock is cooking!
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another edition of the only wrestling talk show here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to Off the Mat. I'm your host, as always, Josh Silverberg. With me at this time, I got my crew, my death triangle, I guess you could say, because, you know, that's what we are. We got 3 of us here. First off, my man in sunny Florida. It's definitely a lot better here than in New York. Mr. Alex Lowe's, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, Josh. It's been an amazing weekend. We got a lot to get through today on the show. Stick with us here the whole way through. It's going to be a great one, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. And of course, a good friend of mine, a man that doesn't really need an introduction, but I give him one anyway because, well, it just adds to the ego of what he is anyway. That's Mr. Lio Gillen. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Gonna have a great show. I can't wait to talk about it.
It's going to be awesome. And again, in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by the current MLW middleweight champion and former NXT cruiserweight champion, Lio Rush, will be joining us in a few minutes. I don't know if he's waiting for us right now, Alex. If he's in the thing. He is perfect, beautiful. So he's here. Before we get to Lio, I don't want to keep him waiting. I know how busy he is. We got to get our house cleaning stuff out of the way. And that's how you can download our app. Well, Josh, how can we listen to Off the Mat every Saturday? Or how can we, listen to other programs that the Worldwide Sports Radio Network has? Well, it's quite simple, and it's free. Did I mention nothing in this world is free anymore? But what we have is, what you do is you go to the Apple Store, you go to WWSRN, you type in WWSRN, you download our app, and if you have an Android, you go to the Google Play Store, and you type in Worldwide Sports. You get all of our shows, our schedule of the shows, our beautiful articles that Alex and I wrote this week that Lio had comments on, so we're going to digest that later. That's okay. I want that face for a while. Our articles that we wrote this week, and we're going to touch on the Royal Rumble a little bit later on in the show. Don't forget, check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com. Okay, our professionally done website. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We are on Periscope. We are all over the place, and we're only growing. We've now officially hit, I believe, over 6,000 followers now, which is incredible. So congratulations to what we're doing here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And again, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have our last 3 Saturday shows. This is one of them. And of course, we have an unbelievable guest coming on with us in a few minutes. We have Raj Jerry, the owner of WrestlingInt.com. He's going to be on with us next week. And our last Saturday show, we have the former Ring of Honor television champion and current #1 contender for the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship, Shane Taylor, joining us in 2 weeks. But without further ado, I have been heckling him all week. I'm glad he's here with us. I'm excited for this. And I hope he sees this because I decided I'm going to promote him as well because that's how awesome of a man he is. Okay, and I know how busy he is. He works tirelessly, and if you don't know, go on his Twitter and all over the place, and you can see how tirelessly he works. Ladies and gentlemen, the current MLW middleweight champion and the former NXT Cruiserweight Champion, the one, the only, Mr. Lio Rush. Leo, it's Alex, Lyle, and Josh here, man. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Your time in the morning, us in the afternoon. How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's pretty early over here right now, but I'm pumped up for this interview, and I'm happy that you guys have me on here.
Oh, dude, well, listen, we're so excited to have you on. You know what it was? Before we get to all the questions, we have so many things we want to ask you because you're a guy that's been all over the business. But what you've been able to do during this pandemic and everything like that, and to really, you're seeing over COVID-19 and stuff like that, and being able to take advantage of all the promotions that you've worked for is incredible. But the first thing I want to ask, of course, is how are you and how is your family doing during this time? Clearly, they seem to be doing great because you have a new podcast out, which I got to hear, which is phenomenal. My wife heard it too yesterday, by the way. My wife said, wow, Leo sounds just like you, and his wife sounds just like me, where we don't know we're not handymen. So, You know what I mean? But how are you and your family during COVID-19? How are you guys holding up and everything?
We're doing good. It was pretty, rocky at the start just because we didn't really know what was gonna happen, what was gonna go down. And then obviously we found out that when we were pregnant, we're gonna have, a boy during all of this.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So it's been, a little stressful like here and there, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. I mean, I can't really complain. Everybody's, safe and healthy and moving along pretty good. So I'm can't complain too much.
Awesome to hear that. And again, we have so many questions we want to ask you because you're a guy, like I said, that's been all over the business. But you and I have talked tirelessly off the air. I feel like you and I we're now friends now, you and I. So you know what I mean? So that's the best part about this whole thing is I want to ask you, because you and I talked off the air privately about your creativity. I'm wearing one of your shirts, and that is your Blackheart character. You were a Man of the Hour character. You energy to the Blackheart to the Dark character. You're going up and down, and it's amazing to see the creativity that you have, and of course with your music and everything like that as well. You're doing so many side projects and working tirelessly in the business. Where do you get your creativity from? How do you think of all these ideas, especially because you have a family with COVID and you're working with all these promotions? How are you able to handle being this creative guy that you are?
I don't know. I'm always thinking, I think literally nonstop, and that's probably, a part of my problem as well. I think too much, but I don't know. It just comes to me, and I'm always wanting to do something new and fresh and exciting. So yeah, I don't really know where it comes from, but I think just the determination and the will to keep pushing forward. And I don't know. I'm always thinking about the people that I love, my friends, my family members, people that I grew up with back at home. And just wanting to change their situation and change, their way of living and get them out of, where I got myself out of. I just want to help. I'm always wanting to help people. So I'm always trying to push myself to dish out new, fresh content and, hopefully something hits and, I never have to do this again.
I hear you. Alex, I know you had something.
So, Leo, we've seen you in many extreme matchups, including against one of your buddies, Joey Janela. When warming up for extreme matchups, how do you prepare yourself and get your body ready for matches that involve a lot of risk taking? Because you take a lot of bumps out there. There's a lot going on in and outside around the ring, and I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think
He brings a my
for
card character out. That's what he does. He brings a my card character out. He
yeah,
becomes numb at
exactly.
that point.
Exactly. But I don't know. I think it's no different than any kind of muscle conditioning. Obviously, it's probably going to be a little better for guys that are used to doing matches like that, constantly. Like you look at like these deathmatch wrestler guys, and you're looking at it like, how do these guys just keep putting themselves through this? Like how can they continue to take a light to? How can they continue to go through barbed wire, go through tables, blah, 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 blah. I just think that over time, the body just kind of get used to it and they kind of get like a body callus, like over time.
Oh, man.
Uh,
Okay, goosebumps. I think about the barbed wire thing. I don't know.
but for somebody like me that's not really used to doing matches like that constantly, I think I just have to come to the realization that I'm going to walk out of that match with like some bumps and bruises and some cuts or whatever the case may be. There's no real way to get ready for that kind of impact on your body, especially with this last match that I did with Blake Christian.
Yes,
it was freezing in that building. There was no possible way I could have warmed up. I'm just like standing there and talking to Blake. It's like there's no way that we can get more warm than we are right now unless we like stand in front of a heater for 30 minutes. But
well, they should have done an Inferno match for you then. That's what they should have done, maybe.
I mean when we had the fire, we did the fire spot in the match.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, this feels pretty good actually.
That's funny. Lyle.
What was your reaction to going up to the main roster to be a manager instead of a wrestler?
I think I was just in the zone. At that time, I didn't know that I was going to be a manager when I got the call. They just said that they needed me at Raw. But then when I got there and I found out what I was going to be doing and that it was going to be a constant thing, I didn't really think about it too much. I just thought about it being an opportunity for me to be on Raw. And I was paired up with Bobby Lashley, and Bobby was like, one of my favorites, like growing up. So I was kind of like, I'm not going to be mad at this, opportunity. I thought it was pretty cool. And if, I decided, well, not I decided because it wasn't my decision, but if the opportunity came for me to, start wrestling on the roster, then that would be great too. But I was just trying to focus in on being a manager. And I think I was a little scared just because I wasn't really known as like a promo guy. So this was like a kind of like a new area for me to kind of shine, and I had to learn quick. There wasn't hey Leo, we want you to be Bobby's manager. Can you go back home and practice how to be a manager for 2 weeks and then come here and you'll be ready? It's like, no, I had to learn right then and there. Every week I had to be on my A game. So it pushed me and I liked it.
Can I just say one thing about that? I got to tell you, and obviously the point of view to be Bobby's manager was supposed to be kind of a heelish manager, that mouthpiece that was supposed to annoy the crap out of people. It worked.
Great job. He was very good at managing.
I had the Lashley in my head still. When I see you now, it's still there. But I got to ask you this. Now, look, you're still so relatively young in this business, and you brought up Bobby Lashley being one of the guys you grew up watching. What got you wanting to do professional wrestling, and who was a male or female, or who was it that you looked up to when you watched professional wrestling? Because we all have guys here. I know my guy watching it was Sting. Lyle, I know yours was, I believe, Shawn Michaels. I think you said Shawn Michaels was one of your guys. I'm not sure if Alex has ever told me his.
Mine was actually a faction. It was the Shield.
So there's that certain person. Who was your person, Leo? What got you into wanting to do wrestling? Number one, and number two, who was somebody you grew up watching and wanting to be like?
When I first started watching wrestling, and it was around the Ruthless Aggression era.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty as a pretty exciting time, and a lot of cool, heavy hitters were on the roster, especially like SmackDown. But I think my go-to people that I would always say, just because of how they kind of like made me feel, just like simply watching the TV. The people who made me want to be a wrestler was Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero. Those are my three.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Alex?
So when working in NXT as the Cruiserweight Champion, was there any advice that you got from Triple H that was shared with you in the course of your time there? Because I know when you're in the back locker room, there's not as much time to talk, but when you do have an opportunity, like what's one thing that Triple H shared with you that's kind of stuck with you?
That's a hard one, man, because unfortunately, all the time that I did get with Triple H, I felt like it was us always kind of disagreeing on something. I wish that I got that advice from him, and I'm pretty sure that I did, but I think it was very generic, like go out there and kill it, or that was really good, or something like that. But any long conversation that I had with Hunter was always about where we saw me as my placement in the company. Like if I was considered just like a cruiserweight guy, or if eventually I was going to start working some programs with guys outside of the cruiserweight division. If he just saw me as that. So that was majority of the conversation, and just kind of like the biggest thing that always sticks to me every time somebody brings up Triple H now, which sucks, is the fact that he called me. He said this on 2 different occasions to my face, but he said that Lio, you're not a star, or at least you're not as big of a star as you think you are, and you're not there yet. Yeah, that kind of just sticks with me.
I tend to disagree with that, but yeah. I'm sorry. We're not here to kiss your ass. We're here to be honest. I think we all can speak that's I'll say that's crap, actually, because clearly he didn't see the big picture that you did. And I know Lyle wants to ask a question next, but the Black Card character itself shows that they missed the boat on something. They should have let you be more creative. They should have let you be more in your creative background. They really, you and I have talked off the air, Leo, about this. I mean, you're watching your Black Card character, and you have the theme song for your. Dude, do you know how many times I listened to that song over and over and over again in my car? And I'm just like, dude, this song is so good. I'm like, and I go to myself, and I'm watching these promos and the videos that you're doing with your wife and your kids and stuff too. I'm like, how does WWE miss the boat with this guy on a Black Card character who's like this? He goes from high up to being very dark and numb and can handle something. I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I just don't understand it. And that's something that I think we all have said on this program about WWE is that they missed the boat on so many creative ideas that when that person leaves, it really slaps them in the face and go, damn, we really missed it on that. But I just wanted to share that with you, as well as my opinion on your character and everything and how good it is. But I know, Lyle, you had something you wanted to ask him.
After you got released, did Tony Khan or AEW ever reach out?
Oh, Leo.
Yeah.
Put him in a spot there.
Yes. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, he did.
You share what you want to share on here, man. This is your platform for you to share what you want to share, man.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure. Yeah, he did.
Don't hold back.
He did reach out to me. But at the time, I was out in Iceland filming for the challenge. And that was kind of my spot to come in and to play. But again, I was out filming. I was doing my own thing, and yeah, since that, there hasn't been another, I guess, opportunity for me to kind of come in, the right way. So yes, I have had that conversation in the past, but it hasn't come back up since.
So that leads me into the next question that I have for you is, like I said, you're working with, and again, this is off the mat with Alex Lowe's, I'm Josh Silberg. We are joined by the current MLW middleweight champion, Lio Rush here. And my question is, I know Lyle brought up AEW. So you're currently working with MLW, and that's awesome. They are great with, they have so many buildings, especially like Alexander Hammerstone, yourself, and everything like that. These, that is another company that's really getting it, and I believe the Von Erichs are there as well. It's my question to you is this: I've seen you back and forth with a certain superstar in the Bullet Club, and that is ELP. Okay, and now we have a guy on here that loves ELP. I'll give you a hint who he is. He's wearing a Bullet Club shirt right now. And I actually have said, screw it, if it's Lio versus ELP, I think Lio kicks his ass. That's my opinion on it. That doesn't matter. I think ELP's a punk that needs to be shut up at times. I have to ask you this. Working with MLW, because you've worked with so many brands, it's kind of a two-parter. Which brand of, you've worked at ROH, MLW, New Japan, now, all these, GCW and everything. Which brand have you felt comfortable working with the most? One, and two, when COVID is over, is New Japan in the works for you to go there and work with I got to tell you something. We were on this show. We thought of the endless opportunities that you could have. As great as MLW is, Lio, you know this, the New Japan Junior Division. I mean, the endless matches with ELP, Hiromu, Taiji Ishimori. I see you smiling because you think, holy crap, this could work. You know what I mean? Is New Japan in the works for you in the future? Have they reached out to you, and would you go there?
Well, as far as being my most comfortable, I think I would have to say right now GCW, just because that's a little closer to home. And before I went to WWE, I was involved in CZW a lot, and it kind of gives me that same feeling. So I would say GCW, my most comfortable. But my time in New Japan so far, with being in the Super J Cup, being able to work Bullet Club and my New Japan Strong debut was really cool. Definitely something that I've been looking forward to for so long now. Just being in New Japan itself is definitely a dream of mine and a goal that I feel like I'm putting in the forefront of everything else. I definitely feel like New Japan is somewhere where I want to go and where I want to stay. Just because, like I said, it's been a goal of mine before I even signed to WWE. And I agree with you. Like those matches in the junior heavyweight division, I think will really, solidify my, I guess, cruiserweight or junior heavyweight, career, and being, just kind of in that class of one of the top, cruiserweight guys in the world, since I have been able to wrestle so many different places and wrestle like some of the best junior heavyweights and cruiserweight guys in the world. I definitely feel like if I touch down in New Japan and actually be in Japan, then, there's no question when it comes to who's the best, cruiserweight or junior heavyweight in the world. I definitely think if I go to New Japan, my name will be in that conversation.
I think it already is in that conversation.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, once you, and I'll let Alex go next, but once you step foot in New Japan, and of course you have to obviously talk with your wife and everything like that. Of course, you want them to be comfortable too, like you said, because you have a baby on the way and going to Japan. It's a whole different ball game going there. But you see somebody like Will Ospreay who has grown into a heavyweight. Which, by the way, if we could get you versus Will Ospreay, I mean, kudos to make that match happen. I'm throwing ideas at New Japan.
I actually had a singles match against Will Ospreay.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I had a singles match against Will Ospreay in 2017. This was in Cambridge, in England, for Southside Wrestling, which a lot of people, they don't know that match happened and they haven't seen it, but there is footage of that match.
I gotta see it now.
It was
I'm
incredible. It was incredible. It was right before I got signed to WWE, so it was pretty good.
That's awesome. So basically, I just want to let you really quick before Alex goes to just letting you know when you sign with New Japan, I just want to have some royalties and become your manager when you go to New Japan. If that could happen, dude, I'll take my wife with me. We'll go to Japan. We'll get settled. She'll have to learn how to eat fish. She doesn't eat seafood, so it is what it is. And everything like that. So I'm just saying. Alex, go.
So my question is actually a two-part question for you. So on February 19th, you will be facing El Phantasmo on an episode of New Japan Strong. Is there anything that catches your eye when facing someone like ELP who's very quick to use his feet? And do you have anything to say to ELP looking ahead towards this matchup?
Yeah, I think ELP has slithered his way into every single last thing that he's accomplished. Yeah, and it bothers me. He's like the
say it, man. What is he? You know it.
I don't know. He's scummy. He's the scum of the Bullet Club. He's the scum of the Bullet Club. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting that rematch. And I'm looking forward to, picking up the W and showing people, because how great would it be? I mean, I've already done it with the last match that we had with the 6-man match.
Mm-hmm,
but
yes, you did.
I pinned him and I beat the Super J Cup winner. So now you have to put in the question, if he didn't cheat to beat me in that first round in the Super J Cup, would I have been the one to go into Wrestle Kingdom and face Hiromu?
Oh my God!
Can
you imagine?
Yeah.
Oof.
That would have been great.
They need to keep checking his shoe, man. I think he has something in that shoe. I'm telling you, I think he has something inside that shoe there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Lyle, you have something you want to say?
Yes. Well, before I ask my question, before the COVID happened, Will Ospreay had a match booked with GCW. So I know you said you still wanted to do GCW, so he never had an opponent booked. So
yeah,
if he still has that booking, you could do it, and that we could see in the United States. But
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Leo, we're throwing a bunch of ideas at you, man. I'm just throwing it out there. We're throwing
I actually thought about this the other day. What if New Japan and all these other promotions like AEW, MLW, they do a cross-promotion championship?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's not far-fetched to think that way anymore. I mean, you're seeing what AEW is doing with New Japan right now.
Yep.
You're seeing what they're doing with Impact. It's I feel like nothing is impossible in wrestling right now.
The forbidden door is open.
Yeah, so you never know. You never know.
So I want to ask you now, Gallows and Anderson, after they got released, just before they signed with Impact, they shared their entire experience from that day that they found out. Now, I want to know, from your point of view, what happened that day for you when you found out about you were getting released?
Yeah, it was super weird on Twitter that day. Everybody was talking about some weird stuff, and I was trying to figure out, why everybody was reacting the way that they were. And I saw that there were some headlines that, WWE was going to be doing like a mass release today. And it sounded crazy. It's like, why would they do that? Nobody else is releasing their talent during COVID. So I thought it was kind of strange, but I kept seeing people talk about it, and it was starting to make like bigger headline news sites and stuff like that. So I was like, oh shit, like this is probably like a real thing. So I remember tweeting out like, hey, no matter what happens today, just know like we're all like one big, community, like wrestling family or whatever, and that we're all going to be like good at the end of the day because we have like each other's backs and stuff like that. And I just got a weird feeling in my gut, and I ended up calling Mark Carano, and I told him that I was seeing all this stuff online, and I heard that WWE was going to be doing like a big mass release today, and I just wanted to know if I was going to be one of those people. And he said, "Hey, Leo, I was just about to call you, but unfortunately, that is the case, and we are going to be releasing you. You're going to be a part of that group that's being released." And I didn't ask why. I didn't ask any questions. I just said, "Okay, thanks for the opportunity." I guess.
That's not an awkward conversation.
yeah. I said, "Thanks for the opportunity," I guess. And yeah, it just kind of ended like that. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm seeing my name on the website with the first group of people who was released. It's so strange. Such a strange day that was.
Well, I mean, look, bright side is this: God always has a plan, and clearly you have shined even brighter than you did before, and you were already really great as it is. Now you're even better, and you're getting to work with all these brands. I know, and again, we thank you for joining us today, man. We know how busy you are, dude. You're doing so much right now. It makes me feel so lazy. Okay, it's disturbing. And by the way, I'm gonna self promote you too. By the way, if you want one of these cool T-shirts that I have with Leo and everything like that, go to Pro Wrestling Tees. Go to his store, check it out. He has so much. Really quick before we let you go, talk about your podcast with you and your wife Sarah and everything like that. Tell us how that got started, and there might be an interesting proposition I might want to talk with you off the air about in regards to this network, because I talked to my producer last night, and he said he wants me to reach out to you about possibly having your show on our network if that works for you. He wants to get in touch with you because he heard it and he thought it was phenomenal. He says, we got to get this guy on the network. We got to get you on, man. Awesome. We got it. But how did you and your wife get started doing this podcast, and what made you say this is the time to do it?
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty cool time. There's so many negatives that came out of COVID and the whole pandemic, but I feel like there's been a lot of positive things too, like self-reflection and seeing where we are like in our marriage. Like obviously we've been able to spend so much time together that we haven't been able to before, like when I was in WWE. So it's pretty cool to be able to kind of hang out with her every day and just talk about life and talk about, all this other stuff. And we thought it would be cool to kind of have our own podcast and just, talk about us, talk about, things that we've gone through and how we met and all the crazy stories, because obviously, this is my wife. This is somebody who has been through everything that I've been through. But it's cool to now hear it from her perspective and not mine. Being able to how was her reaction when I got released from WWE? Sure. What was she seeing from me that a lot of people at home, weren't seeing? So I think it's a cool, dynamic and a cool thing. The whole podcast has to do with it's pretty much a fan interactive podcast where fans ask the questions and we simply give them the answers. So it's essentially the fans podcast. They are creating the content. They are the ones who are creating the show for each week. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. They can ask me questions as individually, her questions individually, or questions as us together. So it's pretty cool, and I'm excited that we that we started this up, and we plan on, staying consistent with it and putting out episodes every week. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all of where podcasts can be streamed and downloaded.
Well, again, like I said, we definitely want to talk about also adding you to our network as well. I mean, we just started getting what I believe over 6,000 followers now on our network. So we want to add you. If you're interested, I'd love to talk to you off the air about it and have my guy Errol Marks reach out to you. He's a good dude, and everything like that. We'd love to get you that. It's just another platform to you to expose that podcast, and I think it's just an endless amount. Leo, we're gonna let you go because we know how busy you are. We want to thank you for joining us today, and I know how early it is, man. Let the fans know how they can reach you and talk about your pro wrestling tee store and also your social networking stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Lionel Green. I know I'm pretty active on my Instagrams where I'm giving a lot of updates on things that I have coming up as projects and different like merchandise and upcoming events and stuff like that. So my Instagram is kind of like the go-to if you want to, find updates on what I'm doing currently and in the future. You can also go to my website, musicbyleo.com, where you can find my music, everything that I'm, doing in the music world. All of my merchandise is on there. If you want to be a part of the podcast, if you want to ask questions, if you want to be a sponsor, you can email me at oig.questions@gmail.com. Obviously, that OIG stands for Orange You Glad. The full podcast name is Orange You Glad You Asked the Question, the podcast. But yeah, we got a lot of cool things going on, and hopefully everybody listening or people who are going to listen in the future after this live feed, stay tuned and I'll try to keep you guys updated as much as possible. There's a lot going on.
Well, let me tell you, we're actually starting March 2nd. We're actually going to be moving our show to prime time on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So the next time we have you on, it's not going to be as early in the morning for you as it is today.
Got you.
But listen, man, I feel you, dude. When you got to get up early in the morning for something, like my wife's telling me you got to get up and start cleaning the house and stuff. I'm like, come on now. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? But I think we got to get my wife and we got to get Sarah to start talking about, how to fix handy things and everything like that. Because you and I, no bueno on that one, dude. I stay as far away from that stuff, dude. Lio Rush.
I can vouch he's right.
Yeah. Lio Rush.
I had to help his wife put together a cabinet once when they moved into their house.
It's true. It's true, dude. Me and IKEA, we're not best friends. Okay? All right, but that's the facts. Lio, we really want to thank you for coming on with us this morning, dude. And we wish you nothing but the best. And don't be a stranger on our show. We want to get you on again for sure. Dude, you're only growing and you're getting better each and every single week. And dude, your ceiling is limitless up there, dude. It really is. And like I said, I don't want to speak on everybody here, but WWE really missed the boat on a really talented guy, and you're showing them why. So we appreciate you, of course, and we're always going to be fans of you. Like I said, don't be a stranger on the show. We want you to come back on here again in the future.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Leo, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Okay. Have a good rest of your day and have a great weekend. Oh, by the way, before you go, who's winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, shit. I don't know. I have no idea.
Throw your curveball there. If you had to pick Tampa, Kansas City, Mahomes, Brady, who and why?
Maybe Brady. I mean, I just feel like he does this kind of stuff every year.
Pretty much.
Isn't it pain in the ass? The guy still sucks and he still gets to the Super Bowl.
Peyton Manning did last year.
I mean, it's ridiculous. This shouldn't be happening. This shows how crappy the NFL is now, man. Thanks, God. Leo. Take care, man. Have a good rest of your day. All right, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Lio Rush joining us here on Off the Mat. That went over the time, and I'm glad it did. That was phenomenal.
That was a great interview.
That was amazing. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed every second.
We're gonna go to a quick break after, and when we get back, we're gonna try to fit in the Royal Rumble and of course the AEW New Japan partnership. But what is one thing that stuck out to you in this interview with Leo that he said that is going to resonate with you?
So the one thing that stuck out with me that he touched a point on was his discussions with Triple H. I never actually knew that about Lio Rush, and
I'm stunned.
I'm absolutely stunned as well because no one really knows what happens in the back most of the time. Like fans don't get to hear that side of the side of the story. They don't get to hear from that perspective of a wrestler. And Lio really touched pretty well on that today. And it still shocks me that WWE missed the boat on that and that Triple H treated him.
And that's why I mentioned that to him. I think that's why what I said. I know I was taking
they
it over,
definitely
but
missed the boat on him.
I had to say that at the end. I had to say that to him to let him know
because
they really screwed up.
Josh, like you said, that is absolute crap. Like
it is.
It is.
I mean, how does a guy in his character not get the right to at least be somewhat creative in his role? And I understand Vince will give it to certain guys, but Lyle, what did you take from this interview that really stood out to you the most?
About the same thing that Alex said. I was actually shocked what WWE did with him. I think he could have definitely been a long-time player in WWE, and it shows that they missed the boat a lot on a lot of guys, and they have so much talent there. So I understand why it does happen sometimes with that company, but I was shocked. I think that he's gonna find a home and he's gonna prove them wrong, like so much talent has also done.
Yes,
he already has, man. Like just look where he's come from. NXT, how far he's come from NXT as a cruiserweight champion up to the Black Heart gimmick now in GCW.
Yeah,
that's a huge jump, and he's done.
It's not even that. He's the current middleweight champion in MLW,
Exactly.
which is a major promotion, and he's working in Japan. The thing that stuck out to me is this, guys. It's the fact that, and I had to ask him this because I had to ask him with Sarah being pregnant and everything like that. You had to ask him. Which, by the way, congratulations to Leo and of course Sarah and everybody, to the family and baby and stuff like that. My thinking is this: he clearly wants New Japan. He clearly does.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said to him, I want 5% of those royalties if he goes to New Japan, because I just do a bunch of match ideas that he could do in New Japan, and he wasn't shying away from it. The thing that I like about Leo is he doesn't hold back. He's a confident guy. He is somebody that feels that if he goes into New Japan, he'll be the best in the junior division. He'll be the best in the junior division. He knows it, and he knows it. And that's the thing. And he called ELP a scumbag, which, comes off as the character as being a scumbag. You know what I mean? That's the point of ELP, which...
That's one of my guys right now, though.
I tell you what, you could say he's one of your guys. Leo has been one of my boys for a while now, so you know what I mean? That's why I wanted to get him on, because I know how he is on the social networking platform. He's a dude that really doesn't hold back.
Come on and respond to what,
and if he wants to, and I say what we should
do. He might even just respond on Twitter. You never.
I tell you this. We get them both on at the same time. Let him just have at it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Screw it, man. I mean, that's the thing, though. I love that he didn't hold back. We're gonna do a quicker break than normal, Alex. I think we'll just do like one quick commercial at this time, and then we're gonna come back. When we come back, we still got to get about the Royal Rumble, and we have to talk about it. It was brought up in the Lio Rush interview. The Forbidden Door has officially opened.
Yes, it has.
By Dave Meltzer. Does AEW and New Japan now officially have a partnership, and what are our thoughts about it? This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back in a quick minute. Stay tuned.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mat with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of Off the Mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm Josh Silverberg, going with Alex Lowe. What's up? We just wanted to say thank you to Lio Rush for joining us. That was awesome. Definitely taking the time out of his busy schedule, but we're now moving on, and we got to recap the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to let you guys start first. Lyle, I'll let you go on your thoughts, because I know Alex wrote an article about it. I wrote an article about it. Lyle, what are your thoughts on how they handled both the men's and the women's Royal Rumble matches?
The women's Royal Rumble, I loved. I thought it was great. They picked the right person. I'm very, very happy for Bianca. She deserved it. But the men's Rumble, it was terrible. It was horrible. And I don't like it that they picked Edge to win. First off, I don't understand what happened. They decided.
I have to disagree with that, Lyle, because Edge came back from a career-ending injury. Nobody in their right minds thought that Edge would be able.
I'm going to stand back for this. There we go.
He's 45. They have no draw in the company. They have no draw. So you're going to take the Rumble and not give it to somebody so they can have a draw. That's what the company did. They did the same thing they always do and give it to some old grandpa.
Hold on. All right, I'm going to be the mediator here. All right, Lyle, finish your point, and then Alex, you can rebuttal it.
They took Edge, who is he's a part-timer. Now, he said he's going to be around full-time for the Rumble, for WrestleMania, Road to WrestleMania. I don't believe it. I don't. He's a part-timer. I don't care. It's just they don't have a draw. This company has no one that makes you want to watch. Not one person. You can tell me Roman Reigns is a draw? Who cares?
I don't know. Roman Reigns is a draw right now.
No, he's not. He's not a draw. Roman Reigns will never be a draw.
Really, as
Never.
a heel, he's one of the more popular heels right now in the business. Go ask a lot. Go ask Meltzer. Go ask Sean Ross. Go ask those guys.
I don't agree with that at all. I will never want to tune in to watch Roman Reigns. He is very bad in the ring. I do not. However, that match was good, but I think
You're being a little harsh with
that match he had with Owens was good, but that was not the actual wrestling.
He's
match.
not bad in the ring.
So,
he's not bad in the ring.
Okay,
But-
average.
He's not.
Here's the thing.
Bad is a way. That's a really, really, really rough word to say. He's not bad. He's still good in the ring. Let's not sugarcoat things. We may not like the company. You may not like the business for WWE. Roman Reigns is not bad in the ring.
No, he's not.
I'm going to say
Agree to disagree.
That's fine. Honestly, that's BS. That's
Yeah.
not true. Alex, you had
Not
one
true.
rebuttal on with Edge. I know you were saying.
Yeah. I disagree fully with what Lyle's saying because Edge, he came back from a career-ending injury. No one thought he would be able to. And even Edge himself thought, hey, how am I going to be able to get myself 100% to be fully invested in a Royal Rumble match? And that surprised me because he's 45 years old. There's not a lot of time left in his career. And I think this is a great decision by WWE to give him one last run. And he can now that he's won the Royal Rumble, he can go anywhere, any direction with it. We saw him come face to face with the Karrion Kross on Wednesday. We saw him come face to face with Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. We saw him come face to face.
That's where they should go.
Drew McIntyre. So there's a lot of possibilities here. There's a lot of directions they could go.
So
if they put him to NXT, I would have less of a problem with it.
Yeah,
because they could still have somebody who is more of who needs that brush in WrestleMania to become to the next step, like in Owens at WrestleMania in a match in a main event, and not saying they might win, which I think that would be the right decision to give Owens the belt at WrestleMania, give him that WrestleMania moment. He is hot right now.
I love Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he is.
I think that would. I wanted him to win. I knew he wouldn't because he had that match, but I think him having that opportunity at WrestleMania would definitely be a way to push him to become a major star, which the company desperately needs one.
His match last year with Seth Rollins. Was
that was a great match.
It was great.
Great
match. I want to say my part before we move on to the next topic, because we are running low on time with AEW, New Japan, and stuff like that. But for those that didn't see my article, okay, I'm going to play both sides of the spectrum here. I agree with Alex and I agree with Lyle. And here's why I agree with both of them. The point of it is this. One of the main reasons why, I had to take a step back and think about it more. And the more I thought about it the more I agree with Lyle. That I think making Edge the champion, the Royal Rumble winner, was not the best. First off, Bianca Belair completely deserved it. Let's not
100%.
She absolutely deserved
100%,
it. And first off, I think her versus Sasha Banks is going to be a banger match at WrestleMania.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that.
That is going to be phenomenal, and that program between the two of them is going to be great. With Edge. It's interesting because, again, Lyle makes a great point. They need to build more stars. And I brought up a guy like Big E. I thought that's a guy that should have won it, possibly. A guy, you know what I mean? Here is the reason why they had Edge win the Rumble. So when I pointed this out last week, I should say, they're going to Tampa this year. I know Alex lives there. And Alex, like I said, I don't want to. This is not an insult to you or to Tampa or the city of Tampa or anything like that. First of all, I grew up going to Tampa. I wrote that in my article. I love going to Tampa, Florida. Tampa is not Los Angeles. They're not New Orleans. They're not Manhattan. Where if you have WrestleMania at those places in New York, New Jersey, in Louisiana, in California, you have the tourist attraction where people are going to come, and they're also not just going to want to go to the wrestling shows, but they're going to want to be a tourist there too that have maybe never been to that city before. Tampa is not one of those cities that's a big tourist attraction. They're still about an hour and change away from Orlando. That's the thing. So what does WWE say? Well, you're already hearing that John Cena's not going to be there this year because of his schedule and because of COVID. The Undertaker has confirmed he's out. He's not doing it. He's not going to do it. They're saving The Rock for SoFi Stadium in LA.
Probably.
So right away, all of our big first off, in a pandemic, in a place that is not a tourist attraction, what can we do to get the fans to come take a chance and go to a non-tourist attraction city in a pandemic situation? Is Big E going to sell for the fans to want to come to Tampa, Florida? Right now, the answer is no.
No.
He is not.
I think this proves my point. The company has no draw.
Hold on. Well, hold on. So WWE is against the wall here. They're very much against the wall because the problem is this. If we can't get any legends to come, and we're in a non-touristy attraction in a pandemic where people are taking the chance to come to WrestleMania, they need a big name. And they had to do it. They had to do it. They had to do it. They had to do it.
But it proves my point. They have no draw.
I understand that. And that's understandable. And that's fine that you say there's no draw. They had to get a big name guy on the card to get the fans to want to come to see WrestleMania. They had no choice. They were stuck against the wall. They could not take a chance on a Big E or something this year. This year they couldn't. Next year in Dallas or in LA, they can because the fans will be back. It's in a tourist attraction city. That's going to draw. They had to get a big name guy. They could not get one. Cena will not be there. The Undertaker will not be there. The Rock will not be there. These guys, we don't even know if Brock Lesnar's going to be there. These guys will not be there because of COVID. So they had to get somebody that they know can draw. That's why they did what they did. Am I for it? No. Do I understand why they did it? Yes. They had no choice this year but to do it. They didn't have an option. So that's what I'm going to leave it at with that. I hope he does do the NXT Championship with Finn Balor or hopefully with Karrion Kross. We'll see. Guys, we're running low on time, so we got to get to our thoughts on the New Japan AEW stuff. Lyle, I'll start with you first on this.
I'm very excited about it.
What is your thoughts on the whole thing that Dave Meltzer has reported that the doors have officially opened?
I think that it's open. It's only as open as it can be right now. Only people that are in the United States for New Japan Strong are going to be able to be there. We don't know when the Okadas, the Ibushis will be able to get here. We don't know. We have no idea. No. We like to say it'll be when the vaccine is done, but
because
we don't know
of the quarantine, they're going to have to quarantine too. Then that's going to be the killer. Yeah.
Exactly.
The only way it happens for that is if Wrestle Dynasty happens. If that pay-per-view happens,
don't get me excited. Oh, now stop.
If that pay-per-view happens, they're coming to the United States.
Oh, come on now.
Then you can have AEW there too. That's the only way.
Take it easy, Lyle. You're getting me revved up.
Okada Omega 4. Okada Omega 4. Okada Ibushi. Not Okada. Omega Ibushi.
Give me Omega Ibushi. Sign me up. Boom. That's how I'm taking.
I want Omega Okada 5. I'm sorry. No, Omega Okada 5.
You could have Omega Okada 5, but we've never had Ibushi Omega. We
kind of. We had Omega, Ibushi, and Rhodes.
You're gonna talk about. No. That doesn't count. Count.
It kind of does.
No, it doesn't. Nope. Okay, how about this too? How about you give me God versus the Young Bucks? Big
yeah, okay.
Give me a little bit. How about you give me, possibly, okay? Maybe we do a Lio Rush, Hiromu Takahashi.
How about Eddie Kingston versus Suzuki?
Who?
Eddie Kingston versus Suzuki.
But it's got to be a street fight. Got to be a Texas death match.
Yeah.
Texas death match. I'm down with that. Hell yeah.
I give you some royalties. I want some royalty fees on these ideas. I'm gonna put it out there. Alex, what are your thoughts on the Forbidden Door now being open?
So I think the Forbidden Door is slightly open, and I like how last week they brought in Kenta to AEW Dynamite to push the idea of this match happening, which has now been confirmed. Kenta versus taking on Jon Moxley. And I'm very, very interested to see how New Japan and AEW form this partnership.
Wow, relax there, Lyle.
I think
it's gonna be very good.
I think New Japan is going to try and bring some of their stars over once the pandemic winds down, and I think there's going to be there's going to be a mix of AEW New Japan stars crossing over into New Japan, and then New Japan crossing over into AEW. So I think it's going to be going both ways.
I told Leo I want some royalty fees when he makes me my man. When I'm his manager, I could be the man of the hour if he wants to. I just say I could do the. Leo.
But I did mention something about a cross promotion championship.
Yes, you did, and he agreed with it. He thought he loved the idea. He said it's not. Look at what, and he brought up AEW. He said, "Look at what AEW is doing."
NWA
Think about
type thing.
Yes, it is. And look at what AEW is doing right now. They're working with NWA, Impact, and New Japan all at once. So for those that said Tony Khan, who, by the way, runs a wrestling company better than he runs a football team, just throwing that out there. And a soccer club, too.
Both kinds of football.
Yeah, because he sucks at both of them. But I love it. It's exciting. It's different. It adds an element to this business that we've been wanting for a long time. I am curious how WWE goes about this now. Maybe does it step up their creativity? Because now WWE is going to say, oh my God, New Japan and AEW and NWA and Impact are all working together against us. This really sucks. What do we do? So now we have to band together and we have to get more creative. And don't forget, New Japan still has a promotion combined with Ring of Honor. Does Ring of Honor get involved in this now? Do they go, hey, listen, Wrestle Dynasty, give me Briscoes versus GOD again, round 4, another street fight. I'm all for it. Now you're talking. Give me GOD versus the Briscoe brothers.
That match we saw at
Mayhem
was great.
You remember?
That match was great.
I have said this time and time again. I'm not the biggest GOD fan, but because they don't put, to me, what they are is a group that they have the personality, they have the mic work, they have something that stands out, which is very a different element where they call out people. Let's face it, the Briscoe brothers have been here since 2000. It's amazing. They fought each other. If you ever watched their fight when they were younger, where Mark beat the crap out of, when Jay beat the crap out of Mark and hit him with a sink in the head. That's how much I love this business. Let's get to our finishing move. Alex!
So my finishing move is, I saw an article today on Wrestling Inc. about the Brock Lesnar lookalike who
Look
has
at
just
you.
now
Look at you already giving Raj Jerry some credit already before next
just
week.
signed a WWE developmental contract. So I kind of want to get Josh and Lyle your thoughts on that.
Well,
I
tell you, I saw what he looks like, and I forget which wrestler it was that actually is the one that pointed out and said they should sign him.
That was Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle is the one that said that WWE should sign him. I love it. Because what's going to happen is Karrion Kross is going to go to the main roster, and this guy is going to come in and I think and be the guy that takes over NXT from what they want.
But we don't know that. They have signed many guys that come in and don't work out. We can't get our hopes up and then we can never hear from this guy again.
Of course, I'm just being honest and I'm just saying it, but I think that's the route they should go. But I love the idea. I think he's a lookalike of Brock, but he's got tattoos all over his arms instead of his chest. Love it. And he's young. That's the great thing. He's durable, and that's the
early
best
20s?
part. I believe so. Lyle, your finishing move.
My finishing move. I think WWE thinks we're stupid.
Okay.
They announced on Twitter that Randy Orton is number 1 and Edge is number 2. The first man out, Edge. What? I literally was so confused. Wait, isn't Edge number 2? Because then Michael Cole goes, and coming in the Rumble at number 2, Randy Orton. What? And didn't Ricochet lose his match to be in the Rumble?
I believe
one other guy did too, and they were still in the Rumble.
Wow. There's a lot of issues with Ricochet that they need to fix because Ricochet needs to. Yeah, I know. My finishing move is a simple one. It's shout out to Lio Rush for joining us today. I thought it was a phenomenal interview with him. I don't want him to be a straight. Clearly, he wants to be a part of the Worldwide Sports Radio Network when I brought it up to him. So I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to get Arrow involved. You know why? What do you want to say?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying like, let's not promise our listeners that he'll be part of the station. Let's see what happens.
Well, no. Well, hold on. I didn't promise. Did I say the word promise?
No.
I did not. Thank you, Alex. You listen. I did not say promise.
You're right.
I did not say promise. Once again, somebody's assuming. And you know what that means? You make an ass out of you and yourself.
No, it's out of you and me.
I know what it is. I made it up for you. I changed the wording up for you. No, but seriously, we want to thank Lio for joining us this week, dude. It was awesome. Really quick before we go, I know we're over the time, but please don't forget, tune in next week. We have another interview. We have 2 more Saturday shows, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more before we move to prime time, starting March 2nd at 8 p.m. We're not going to release the announcement yet, but there is a guest in the works that is going to be joining us on that first show on March the 2nd, and she's a pretty big one. That's the only hint I'll give you. She is a female. But don't forget to tune in next week. Ross Jerry, the owner of WrestlingInc.com, he is going to be tuning in with us next week to talk about all the different promotions of wrestling and all the work that he's done with WrestlingInc.com and how much it's grown. Check our app out on Apple. Just type in WWSRN. On the Android, go to the Google Play Store, Worldwide Sports, and sign in. You just have to click download, open it up. The app is free. It gives you our show articles. It gives you our show schedules. If you missed the show, you can re-listen to it. If you want to see clips of the show, you can re-listen to that or rewatch it as well. We're on all different social media platforms. We're social networking everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. You name it, we're on it. We're just growing every single week. WorldwideSportsRadio.com is our website as well. So check that out. A professionally done website. We're working, of course, with Potbelly Sports right now. And don't forget, check me out tonight on 103.9 FM, The Weekend Crunch with myself and Errol Marks. We are on it from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're on 103.9 FM, Long Island LI News Radio. And if you missed the show, you could just re-listen to it later. We are on after all the New York Islander games. So after the Islander games are over, you can listen to us. We have a lot to talk about.
Not all their games are on.
Home games. It's home games. Or all their home games are on there on Suffolk County. There you go. I fixed it. Don't worry. So everything like that. So after that, check us out on all their home games, and we're on right after that, so the fans can listen to us and check out what we're doing. We're only growing. Alex, Lyle, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Of course, to the fans out there, thanks for joining us. Listen, we appreciate all of you for tuning in. 2 more Saturday shows. Don't forget, next week, Ross Jerry's going to be joining us. And then our last Saturday show, we have the former television champion of Ring of Honor and the current #1 contender for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, Shane Taylor, will be on the last Saturday show with us. And then March 2nd, we go prime time Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to us here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is Off the Mat. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, everyone.